memory of the John F. Kennedy visit to New Ross was we weren't too interested in John F. Kennedy. Those days, I was only 12 at the time. In those days, you wouldn't see a plane in the sky, not like looking up now. In actual fact, I was 17 before I ever saw a plane, even on the ground. But what thrilled us about John F. Kennedy coming to New Ross was we were going to see helicopters for the first time. I myself had to form into a Guard of Honour, well, a lettering, we were shaped into the letter Foilta in Kennedy Park, the GA Park at the time, and we were lying on our back and we were really excited about seeing these helicopters. As I said, we weren't too interested in John F. Kennedy because we didn't know much about him. As a 12-year-old you wouldn't, and we didn't know much about the States either. But the excitement came when we saw these two big, massive helicopters coming in over the trees and landing in Kennedy Park at the time. Now, we were nearly blown away with the rotors of the blade. They were landing, coming down so low, and our ties, the whole lot were blowing all over the place. Then they landed, and the next thing, John F. Kennedy went over to the group that were assembled, and mainly kids, very few adults were there. And the place wasn't packed. It was, as I said, school kids were there. And then he said a few words. My own brother actually got up right beside him. But we had more interest in these helicopters. And then another bonus was these massive big cars. Now when he got into the cars, we ran down, trying to keep up with the cars to get to the quay with him. And when he got onto the quay, then we were lost. We were small. There was not a lot of adults around, so we couldn't see much. We're also interested in television cameras. Television cameras were a unique thing those days for young people. And the television camera was parked over right across the quay, and I was more interested in going over and seeing how the camera worked and how the film could work than when John F. Kennedy was speaking himself on the quay. We couldn't see too much because there were too many adults in front of us. But there's two specific incidents with John F. Kennedy that I remember. First of all is when the microphone broke down. And Mr. Minhan at the time said we're in right trouble now, but it only broke down for a few seconds. I think the wards were in charge of that at the time. They were from Mary Street, they were sound engineers. And the second incident I remember specifically was when John F. Kennedy mentioned about Albatross, that he could have been working there if his grandparents had stayed. And the reason why I remember that is my father was working in Albatross at the time. But after that, he just hung around, and when he disappeared, then that was it. And that was the end of the visit for us, as far as we were concerned. But we were lucky enough, at home we had a television, and I was able to see his visit to Dunganstown. I was able to see his visit to Wexford. But the biggest excitement for me on the day was seeing those massive helicopters.